Linh-chan and Dimi-chan play games.
Welcome back, Mario.
Mario.
Welcome back, Chan-chan.
Mario.
Mario.
Welcome back, Mario. Today we're going to be continuing Luigi's Mansion. And I want to see if there's anything good in here. No.
How are you doing on this game? Is it like Pikmin, how each day you have to complete a certain thing?
No, not at all. So there's no days. There's just a bunch of rooms. So the blue rooms are the ones we...
Are you on a time constraint?
No, no time constraint. Okay, the yellow rooms are the ones you cleared.
Yeah.
The blue rooms are the ones that are part of this level that you haven't cleared, that you've cleared. The green are the ones you visited, but are not
The green
clear
is
yet.
the hallway.
Yeah, the hallway. That light gray one on the bottom is unfinished.
Where?
On the next to the orange and the blue.
Where's the orange and the blue?
There's an orange in the middle, blue on the right. Okay, see where the A is? Right above the A. There's like a light gray one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that one we visited.
That's not even orange. That's like yellow, like a gold yellow. So much. I was like, where's the orange?
Well, like we were saying how no two people smell alike, I guess no two people see alike.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, do you know how the eyes work?
No, not really.
So, basically, the reason why, like, TVs and screens in general all work at all is because our eyes actually evolved to be very simple. But before that, look, there's a little mouse hole. Do you think a little mouse can come out?
No, a mouse ghost is gonna come out.
A mouse ghost? Or maybe not. Maybe we're gonna get sucked in. Or a bat ghost. Okay, so basically... Oh, there's nothing in that chest. Basically, the way the eyes work is you have 3 different... and now I always forget if these are the cones or the rods. But you have 3 different photoreceptors in your eyes that can see color. One is sensitive to red light, one is sensitive to green light, and one's sensitive to blue light. These guys are frozen. You need to melt them. And to be able to see anything, you see really a combination of red, green, and blue. And different combinations of that give different colors. So for example, white is made up of, from our eyes' point of view, equal amounts of red, green, and blue. The reason why white looks that way at all is because the sun outputs every single color. And our eyes just evolved to see that as white light. Black is seeing no color, so you're not seeing any red, any green, or any blue. Gray is seeing an equal amount of all of them.
But you said white is seeing an equal amount of them.
No, white is seeing a lot of it. So if you notice, like gray
so
is...
like 100% concentration of each?
Yeah. Like seeing a lot of... So for example, where the flashlight is, there's a lot of light, therefore it's very bright. And even though it's kind of yellow on the outside, since you're adding so much more light towards the middle, that's why it looks white.
Okay.
Yellow is a combination of green and red. Oh, lots of money. Green is a primary color as far as our eyes are concerned. Red is a primary color and blue is a primary color.
So then how do you when you stare at a certain spot or a certain color for so long and you turn away, or the other day I was staring at my the screen and there was green pink border.
Oh yeah, so we were looking at our video, which of course has like a pink and orange border.
So when I looked away, there were like green. I see green. So how does that work?
So essentially, when you're looking at something that's pink or magenta,
or is it only for those 2 colors? Or
no.
Colors?
It's all colors. Let me catch this meanie first. Okay, he's gone. Whatever. So when you look at something that's pink or magenta, what you're actually looking at is something that emits blue light, and red light. Like, that's what you're looking at as far as light goes. Oh, gemstones. And when you're looking at something that's like cyan, what you're really looking at is something that's green light and blue light, and yellow is red and green. Of course, that doesn't mean that it's impossible to see, like, actual yellow light. Like, there are yellow photons in the world, and those, when they hit your eye, your red cone cells and your green cone cells both get excited at the same time, just like when you look at a TV that's emitting red and green at the same time to make yellow, you know? But when you do look at the same color for a long period of time, so for example, with the magenta, what your cone cells are actually getting very tired. They're like doing all the work, and then they're taking a break, and they're no longer sending information to the brain. They're just, do I need to be right here? They're basically overworked at that point because you're looking at it a lot. So they're not really doing the work anymore. So when you suddenly move and look at like a white wall, you're actually, those cells are no longer doing their job when you're looking at white. So in the end, you end up looking at something that's emitting. So magenta, for example, was red and blue.
Red and blue.
Right? So when you're looking at a white wall, now what you're seeing is a lot of green and no red and blue, because your red and blue cone cells
was overworked?
Yeah, they're overworked and they're no longer doing anything.
Interesting.
And that's why you see green. And eventually they return back to normal, so that's why the green slowly fades away and you lose that effect. So that's a rough explanation as to how eyes work. But like, different people see things differently. So some people have like a different, so their red cone, for instance, is receptive to a different wavelength of red than everyone else. I think it's the red one specifically. And what that ends up with is you have people that can look at the same image like on a screen, and they'll see two different things because the screen is just emitting one wavelength of red, right?
You mean different people will see the same image as different thing, or the same person seeing two images and seeing them as as two different things? Wait, I don't get what you're saying.
So you'll have two people looking at the same image
and see two different things?
Yeah, so one of them is gonna see it slightly more magenta, and the other one's gonna see slightly more green.
Okay, so it's a genetic thing.
It's a genetic thing, absolutely.
Everything goes down to being genetic.
Yep. And as a result of this, you actually end up with people who can see, who don't like agree with what they're looking at on a TV, for instance. So it's quite interesting in that regard.
So then I wonder, like, our sense of taste or sense of our vision or taste, if it's similar to what we talked about before when it comes to our sense of smell, how we have all of these receptors, but the receptors aren't the main, how different people have different sense of smell, like the degree of smell, like how more, like certain people are more sensitive to a certain smell than other people, and that all has to do with the transmission pathway that goes from the receptors and that's connected to the brain, and whether how efficient that pathway is. So I wonder if vision and our taste are the same thing. Like, it's not solely based on the taste buds or our vision or cones, but it's more on the pathway to the brain that's affecting the way we actually see or taste things.
Well, that's very interesting, actually, because I know for a fact that even though I wear glasses because I can't focus, I am very sensitive to very small details of things I look at. Like, if you were to think of it as far as like the difference between HD and 4K resolution, I would have the 4K variant where I can see smaller things better than most other people. So even though I need glasses to see, I like maybe my...
Are you saying that with glasses you see more minute details?
Or I put something in focus. Yeah, so if
But maybe that could just be that your prescription allows, because you know when you look at the eye exam chart, the lower you go, the smaller you can see. So maybe when you had your glasses done, you asked to be able to see the smallest line of text, as opposed to some people just went with the standard of what is required. And a lot of time, eye doctors recommend you just go with the standard rather than trying to see the smallest things.
well, the reason that is because not everyone can see the smallest thing.
Oh.
Like a lot of people are not able to resolve the smallest thing, so there's no point getting a prescription that can show it to you if your eyes are not able to see it.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. And I don't think that this is because of
your glasses.
Of my glasses. I think, or no, I don't think it's because of the amount of like receptors I have in my eyes. Just like you were saying before. It's the quality of the connection.
Yeah.
And specifically what your eyes are sending to your brain is not like the pixels. It's not sending, okay, like at this point in the eye, you're seeing this.
Yeah.
It's re-encoding and re-transforming the image into something specific. So when you look at a shape, what your eyes are doing is you're not seeing... my good bro. Sorry, I'm paying attention to this because she's telling me something important. But when you look at a shape, you're not seeing the shape. What you're seeing is... so you're not seeing the individual pixels, you're seeing the shape, basically. Like your eyes are detecting the shape and sending that to the brain.
Yeah, because you can't really see pixels. Like if you're looking at a glass of water, there's really no pixel. Pixel is only something that we create to show on screen to be able to pinpoint things, no?
Yes,
we don't really see in pixels.
But your eyes do. Like the way your eyes are set up, it's a grid of cone and cone cells that can see different color. And for instance, you have a lot more blue cones in the center of your eye than you do in the periphery of your eye, so you can't actually see blue in the corner of your eye. Your brain will fill in the blue for you because it knows something has to be blue, but you're not really seeing it.
I think I'll do more research to see if, like what I asked before, like to see if the amount of receptors really matter, or if it's because just the pathway to the brain and how, and just see if they're similar to our sense of smell.
Well, you were saying for sense of smell too that like everyone has the receptors, but not everyone has all the pathways, right?
Well, everyone has a pathway. It's just certain pathways are maybe not as efficient as the others. You know?
So, for example, I can't smell a lot.
Kind of like our like everyone's genetic makeup is different, right? There's a slight change in certain things. There's no one out there that's exactly the same as everyone else. So because of that, maybe your pathway is the same. Kind of like if you and I were to draw a line, of course, our lines aren't going to be the same. So I think it has to do with that, like it has to do with more like, I guess, dumb luck. Whether you got a pathway that works or not, and it's not something you can fix either.
Yeah.
Really.
But what I was getting to is like for eyes, like the reason why people are colorblind is not necessarily because the pathway is less efficient. It's because people are actually missing those receptors.
Yeah, there's a mutation in those.
So like a colorblind person might be missing their red receptor, so they can only see green and blue. So anything that depends on red, they just can't see at all.
But I thought a colorblind person can only see in shades of brown. Like everything is brown.
Well, it depends what the type of colorblindness that they have.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I guess I'll do more research on that because it's really interesting. And I guess we can talk about it next time.
Well, see you next time as we play with Melody. Bye, everyone.
I feel like it's gonna get creepy.
It's not gonna get creepy. She's a nice pianist.
Anyway, bye.
Bye-bye. Linh-chan, Linh-chan, Dimi-chan, Dimi-chan, Dimi-chan.